Hi, and welcome along to the Weekend Roundup. We are here for another show. Not many games. Weekend preview, should I say? Yeah. You know what it is? It's from the other night. It's from the other night we was at the Tocker Social.
But you get drunk.
Big up everybody. I didn't actually.
No, I know you didn't. You sit downstairs.
Big up everybody who's at Tocker Social. It was absolutely brilliant the other night. Great turnout. And great Q&A, and it was a great panel, and we really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to do some more of those. But big up to everybody who came down on the day. Let me introduce today's panel. We've got a couple of subs coming. You know what I mean?
Ouch. They done do you know what it was? They done the big one, and they said, just chuck the little boys in.
Yeah. No, what it is?
But Matisse's turn up anyway.
A couple of the guys are at Soccer Aid. They got the training for Soccer Aid this week, and they're doing interviews and stuff like that, so look out for those. But we've got Cecil in the building from AFTV big up. Joining us. Nicky from West Ham Fan TV, great to have you on board, bro. You was at their event the other night as well. And Matisse is in the building as well. Of course, guys, not really many games, you know, the obviously the Premier League's over and all that. It's all about internationals at the moment, I guess. And even though it's sort of fairly quietish at the moment, it's all going to kick off next week. Yep. Next week is when it goes mad. Next week, Friday, when the Euros start, Scotland versus Germany, the first game. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually as it's starting to get near now, I'm starting to look forward to it. And it was interesting to see England, you know what I mean? They've cut a couple of players from their squad. Of course, it was like a 27-man squad. And they've cut a couple of players from that squad.
It's 33
man squad, sorry. Yeah, got to get down, yeah. Cut a couple of players from it. The real eye-catching one that's cut from the squad, James Maddison. Are you surprised by that? Matisse, are you surprised that Maddison's been cut?
No. I don't think he's had a good enough season. I think up until maybe November, before his injury, he was on fire. The whole Tottenham team was really good. They were near the top of the league. But since the turn of the year, he's been anonymous. So
got injured, didn't he? Of course.
Yeah, he had the injury. But I think with the amount of players you have in this position, you know, talented players as well. You're looking at the likes of Foden. Can he play in the 10? Will it be Bellingham, who's, you know, Player of the Year in La Liga? Will it be Palmer, who's had an incredible season? And then there's Kobe Mino and other midfielders, Walton, that's come through and look really good in their teams. I just don't think Maddison can have anything to argue about. The only thing I do feel sorry for with Maddison is that I don't like the provisional squad decisions anyway. I think I see Spain, they just report it on TV. Everyone's sitting at home waiting for their name to be called. France just put their squad straight out. I don't know why England have this weird main character syndrome of we have to have a soap opera and we have to have a provisional and then we have to eliminate people. It's like X Factor.
But you know, this is I was just about to say that.
Make a good point. Just a final point. Was you going to change your mind based on the friendly for Maddison being there or not being there? If you wasn't going to have him there anyway.
They said about Bowen actually.
No, but you've got to talk about injuries. That's what it's all about. It's about injuries. You get a 33-man squad. They're playing with the squad. They're with the squad. If say Foden come on against Bosnia, got injured, then Bellingham got injured, then he's in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is like a bit like X Factor. First one out, James Maddison. You know what I mean? Like
going to judges' houses.
I mean,
literally. But now you got to go home.
They haven't even. Well, this is why I'm surprised by it, because they haven't even made the second friendly.
No.
You know what I mean, but he must have just gone into this to the change room and went, you're not coming. Get out of here now. I don't know whether they've had
That's what's ridiculous. I agree with you, Nicky. Like they must have just go because he's left already. He's taken off his social media. He's not representing England.
I think he's left on his own accord because he
can play. He could have played tomorrow.
I'm wondering if he listen. I don't know.
Must throw a fit.
Yeah, because how comes his name just got leaked out? There wasn't an official announcement yesterday, was it?
No. Him and Jones.
So probably he's told people, I'm out and stuff like that. And I agree with you, Matisse. He ain't been good enough to make the England squad. There's so many players ahead of him.
But if that's...
And then I go back to you Tottenham fans, what I was saying, and near the end of the season, when you're on about, it don't matter, let's play poorly and stuff like that. And I said, one of the points I made is that a player like James Maddison wants to get into the England 100%. Squads for the Euros, right? So he's going to want to put in a real top performance, which he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't because he was trying to throw the game against Man City.
No, they played well.
But he didn't play well in that game, and he hasn't played well enough in other games, and that's why he's not in.
But Rob,
simple, what Matisse said.
Do you know what, as well? Sometimes, and I know this from like the youth level up, it's about attitude.
Yeah,
it's about attitude. There's always been questions about Maddison's attitude. There's always been questions. I've heard stories from back in the day when he was at Leicester. He didn't used to turn up to train. He used to go golf and things like that. There's always been a train. Now, I'm an England fan, big England fan. I don't want someone representing my country that as soon as they get told, I don't think we're going to take you, son, that leaves the camp. Because he's got another chance to get a cap tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like if that's the case, I mean I don't know whether that's the case, but he's left the squad.
Seems like it.
But also heartbreaking, maybe for him to say like
it's heartbreaking.
He's not
but there's always a chance. I remember.
Look at a player.
I remember the World Cup 2002. Right, Trevor Sinclair was not on the plane. Yeah, Trevor Sinclair got told at about this stage, listen, son, you're not gonna be going. Yeah, so he turned around and he said, well, I'm going to stay with the squad anyway. Stayed with the squad. Beckham was injured. Gerrard got injured, or Lampard, one of the two, and he was on the plane. So if there's someone now that gets injured,
it'll be Jones.
It'll be Jones. But that's what I'm saying. It'll be someone else because he will tell him, well, don't bother coming back. You walked out on us.
Yeah, his attitude's been clear.
But he's probably banking on the fact that he probably doesn't think Southgate's going to be there for too much longer, where he can afford to make that kind of decision.
Then the next manager might do that.
And the thing is, you say that is, why play that friendly, but it might have come down to that friendly because Eze, maybe it was between them two, right? Who stays, right?
Yeah.
And Eze was excellent in that game, right? And then Maddison ain't really been pulling up trees for Spurs recently. Didn't really come on and make it. Manager's probably thinking, yeah, we're going with Eze. So that is, that may have been his sort of last chance to sort of make an impression.
Stayed with the squad to the last.
I personally think Eze fits the balance better for that England side anyway than Maddison, in my opinion. Anyway, so I think it's the right decision.
Well, he's out. The other player that's out is that we know of is Curtis Jones as well. He's out of the squad. We'll get to find out about the rest, but those two have been cut from the England squad. On England, Nicky, I know you're a massive England fan. Do you think they can win it this time?
Yeah. I was listening to the panel. Do you know what? I am quite confident. The only thing that lets us down is defence. I think, we've got a lot of injuries coming back. I mean, left back. Who played there the other night? It was Trippier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Trippier. Yeah, he could play there. And but Shaw should be back. We've got Gomez in now, but Shaw is just still coming through an injury. Stones is obviously our best defender, just coming back from injury. Maguire just coming back from injury, and he shouldn't even be in there, in my opinion. But that's the only thing. But when you look at, I'll see you when you asked the panel the other night at the Tocker, France. I think England get. Look, I know we've got history, but you look at the players we've got now, right? You've got Jude Bellingham, possible Ballon d'Or winner,
La Liga player
of the year. And that's a league, isn't it?
Foden,
Cole Palmer, Foden,
English player of the year, and Harry Kane, German player of the year.
Harry Kane, Declan Rice in the midfield.
But Nicky, that the France defence, brother. It's up there.
It's up there. But there is. I know what you're saying, right? But I'm going to tell you this now, right? Their own manager said Saliba's not the same player for France as he is for Arsenal, right? But even with that defence, our attack, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Saka, Kane.
If it's activated, though,
I'm not worried about any defence.
The thing is, right? I think England can win it, but the attack has to be activated. He's got to unleash.
And then when you think about that as well, Bellingham coming from deep, he scored 20 goals this season.
Crazy. But he's playing full. Yeah.
But is Southgate gonna get the balance right?
No, he probably
because
won't.
with all of those, exactly. So sometimes more options means bigger headache. Because now you're overthinking who you should play. We all know Foden really, in my opinion, should be in that 10, right? He's the best 10 the country have, but he'll probably be maybe out on the left, and then maybe you don't get the same Foden you've been getting for City, and then suddenly this name that everybody's excited to hear about is not you've diminished a player by 50%, putting him out wide and asking him to maybe hold width. So I don't know. There's a lot of talent there. I just don't trust Southgate to get the best out of that talent, and I don't trust him to, when the fine margins in the latter stages of competition against big teams, because again, we could talk about England getting to later stages in all these tournaments, but when they rock up against a serious team, they always lose. They always lose, and I think that's half. That France game was very unlucky.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
The France game was unlucky.
I'll give you that.
But we can even go back to other tournaments where they've had a Croatia.
No, but you talk about other tournaments. I think the progression under Southgate. Look. Southgate's not good enough. I don't think at this point, he's proved time and time. But I've got to say this: he's had a few tournaments. I think he's got better every time. I do think he's got better every time, and I think he's at the stage with England now where the attack is so potent. He can't fuck it up. He can't.
But
Because
defense-
you know what I mean?
Do you know what, Nicky, right? It's going to be really interesting is that we got an interview coming out that I did with Ned Emanuel last week over in Amsterdam, yeah? And he was making a point how important defences are, though. True thing he said. You guys, we all go to tournaments talking about the attack. But really, he goes, tournament football is very defensive. Teams don't want to give a lot away, you know what I mean? And that is very true, you know what I mean? So he goes, they're very, very defensive things. So your defence has to be good as well.
It does have to be good because teams will tighten up. But the problem is with England is Southgate will then try and tighten up as well. Yeah, you know what I mean? When we have got the attack to break through any defence, but will he let them go?
It feels like the Man City Arsenal complex. It feels like France are like Man. The way you're talking there, it's progressed every season. That's how I feel with how I look at England. I think like, yeah, you're right. Through each tournament we have progressed, but can we get it over the line? This is the big tournament where he's going to have to do it. But that's what it literally feels like.
Nicky, if he doesn't get it over the line in this tournament,
I think he's got to go anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyway, if he does, he does.
Asif Ali says, Robbie, ask Nicky if he takes Southgate at West Ham.
Yeah, why not? We've got the manager now.
All right. Cool, you got a manager now.
You got Lopetegui. I think.
I'm just saying, you would take a.
The problem is, right, and I know a few people in there, but you've been slating me about the thing about David Moyes. The same problems for Southgate for England were the same problems that we had with David Moyes, and everyone's looking at me going, "Well, you know, you should be grateful. You should be grateful." The same problem, but listen.
Why would you take him? I don't think he's a better manager than David Moyes.
Well.
I think you'd be down.
Are you happy with Lopetegui?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I think you'd be down.
It's a
good manager. Do you know what?
Do you know what? I just said that to shut that guy up.
We actually don't know where he lands. We don't know where he lands in club football after the job he does with England. I'm actually quite interested to see where he goes after England.
So yes, to be fair,
if he won the Euros with England, well, then
I still don't think he goes into a top job.
He'd get the World Cup, but then if he won it, say he won it and decided to leave,
I think he could get a top half job, but I don't think he wouldn't get like top 6.
Yeah, he wouldn't get Chelsea.
No, God no. If he has, listen, don't make me.
Hold on. Wait a minute. So the new guy, Enzo, is better than Southgate.
I'm not saying he is because I don't know this guy. But I'm just saying.
Why wouldn't he get Chelsea?
I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying that Enzo's better.
Why wouldn't he get Chelsea?
No, I'm not saying. Listen, maybe they would, but you see me? No, that can't run. That cannot run. No.
Do you know what?
Because it's just not.
I've just said
he's not good enough.
No. Just gave you the scenario.
No.
He won the Euros. So he won the Euros. So his record then would have been.
Because I've seen the football.
Got to a final of the.
I've watched the football. It's not the type of football that our players are. It's not in line. If you're going to give Southgate a job, you don't give him the players that we have. It doesn't match. He doesn't even speak Spanish or Portuguese, let alone. How's he going to communicate? How's he going to communicate? He doesn't. How's he going to communicate with us?
A young England team.
How's he going to communicate with Paqueta and Enzo?
Yeah, but a young English team, a young Chelsea team.
Why are you trying to gas it? Would you take him at Arsenal?
Do you know what? I'd love him to turn up at the next. I'd love him to turn up at the next live show and start going Spanish and that.
Do it. I know he doesn't. It's not going to work. It doesn't make sense.
You see that though?
I wouldn't take him.
Everybody's just like, no, I wouldn't take him.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Do you know
Enzo?
We didn't take him.
He was our assistant manager. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
He was our assistant manager under Pellegrini.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know
they
that.
They chucked him out in the dirt. When Pellegrini, I'm joking.
That's mad.
He was our assistant.
And now you're taking him with open arms.
No, I'll back any man. If Southgate was hired, obviously I'm going to give him a chance, but I don't want him.
Okay.
You're asking me, do I want him? I don't want him.
All right, Nicky, I want to get yours. What's your starting? I think we got it from. I haven't had yours either. I know Matisse's one.
I think I've done.
Starting 11 for England, first game.
It'll be Pickford, but I would go with a Newcastle keeper. Pope.
Right.
He's not even in contention, I don't think.
He's not even there, is he?
Oh, he's not?
He's not even in contention.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Henderson, Ramsdale.
Pickford. Right, okay, yeah, okay.
So Pickford. All right.
Pickford.
Back 4.
Shaw.
Yep.
Or Gomez, but I'll go for Shaw if he's fit. Stones, Maguire, because it's going to be that anyway. Kyle Walker. Now, this is where it gets messy.
Midfield.
You got to go Bellingham and Rice. Mm-hmm. Foden.
Right.
Saka.
Yep.
Kane.
Yep.
Eze.
Right.
On the left.
Over Gordon.
Yeah.
On the left. Eze.
Yeah, I'd put him in there.
As a left winger. Okay.
Do you know what? But Foden could go left wing.
I would rather
the left wing is going to.
I want Foden in the middle.
The left wing's going to
I like Eze, man.
The left wing is going to be difficult. The left wing's going to be difficult.
No, Palmer. I
find it kind of refreshing though that there is no Rashford, Sterling. I'm interested to see Gordon and Eze. It's nice.
What's yours?
Especially for the World Cup.
What's yours?
I think I'll put Gomez in over Shaw, by the way, left back.
Right, so you gone Pickford?
Yep. Same with
same four, back four, but
in there.
Yeah, midfield.
Yeah, it's got to be Rice and Bellingham. This is where it gets tricky. Harry Kane up top, Saka on the right.
No, hold on. What you got? Is it other midfielder? Who's the other midfielder?
Do I put Foden in there or?
It's got to be Foden.
Yeah, but I might put him on the left. And I know it's unbalanced. It's not good, but he can just drift. I'll put Foden on the left. Let him drift in, play wherever he wants, and on that midfield area, I'm gonna put Cole Palmer there. I think he has to put Cole Palmer in this team. Has to be in there. And then Harry Kane.
I think he comes off the bench like Grealish did a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Cole Palmer. Yeah,
I like Cole Palmer.
But it just shows you the strength of depth up front, doesn't it?
It's crazy.
You still got Bowen. You still got Grealish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any of them.
Anthony Gordon, which you mentioned.
Anthony Gordon, yeah.
Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of strength in depth there, and looking forward to it. Look out for it next week. We're going to be doing a load of previews leading up to the Euros, and we're going to be covering loads of the games over the Euros as well. So keep it locked here on DR.
Good team, I won. I picked a goalkeeper that ain't even there and a left winger that ain't a left winger.
Let me, because we've got Nicky here, just quickly, I know we've got a show schedule and whatnot, but Paqueta Island, can we, like, no. What you doing?
Do you know what, right?
Please, because you're here.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreking for him because he obviously had a big move on the cards.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Have just quickly.
And it's... If you've looked at the bets that was placed, right? £7. Yeah, I'm thinking, do you know when they said that? I'm thinking they're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds.
So do I.
£7. Someone placed on him, right? And the most.
Yeah, but it is in like some place in Brazil.
Have you ever? It's his island. It's named after. He's named after the island.
Well, his name's not really.
But right, let me say this, right, and I'll say no more. Have you seen the way he plays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always bound to get a booking. He's always bound to get a booking. There is no. I'm telling you, right?
But everyone from Paqueta Islands made the
60 people.
Yeah, but
60 people.
Yeah, but Nicky from Paqueta, come on.
If you look at the way he plays, he's always. And in the Bournemouth game, yeah, he punched the ball in the 92nd minute. If you're going to get a booking, you're going to get it in the first 20 because you might get injured, you might go off, the game might finish on 90 minutes directly, right? And he asked not to play in that game because he was injured.
Oh, context, fair.
Oh, so you're saying this is a bit unfair?
Interesting.
I think they've charged him because they was looking into.
They're trying to ban him for life.
I know. But I think they've charged him because they're still trying to find evidence and they were running out of time. Because when they charged him, they had a couple of days left to charge him. Otherwise, they're going to let it go. I think they've charged him. So they've got more time to investigate.
Some more context on it as well. The total winnings was 100,000, which he earns 150 a week.
Do you want to know?
Come on, hold on.
Do you want to know the maddest thing? And I'll tell you the maddest thing. You know who grassed him up? Betway.
Yeah.
They're our sponsor. And they've just lost us an £85 million deal.
No, but actually, they've got to follow the rules. And listen, the thing is about this, right, is that you might say it's only £150,000, right? But it's not good, man. You know what I mean? When you're saying to people, you're ringing up your mates and saying, yeah, bet on me because I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
But he could just
you're influencing a game. That's terrible.
No.
It's not as, you can't just say £7. It's terrible.
I'm not conceding
and I can
that. He
see
could have
why.
paid that money, though.
I can see why. I mean, I don't think they will ban him for life, right? I think that'd be too harsh, right? That'd be way too harsh. But if those are true, that what I've seen there, that's a lengthy ban. That you can't. You have to protect the integrity of football. And if you got players saying, "Oh, you know what, I'm gonna get booked in this thing. I'm gonna get a deliberate red card." You're not playing for your team no more. You're playing now.
Ivan Toney's ban. Is that what you're saying?
Playing now for sponsors. Of course, it'd be way worse because if you look at Ivan Toney's, if what they're accused of, and by the way, this is alleged, right?
Alleged,
right? But what he's accused of is way worse than Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney's like, it's not even games he's playing in.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? He's betting on, right? Which is something you're not allowed to do. This one, you're playing in a game and you say, put some money on me, man. I'm going to get a yellow. But that's terrible.
What about Trippier?
That's terrible.
Trippier told his mate that he was going to Atletico, put money on him.
Yeah, that's bad as well.
And he got banned for that.
And he got
rightly so.
I think there's going to be a ban, but they've got to find something. The reason why I don't think they've found anything, because when they was first investigating it, he gave him his phone. Yeah, they took his phone off of him to investigate through his WhatsApp messages and all that.
He might have rung the people.
It doesn't take a year. Doesn't take a year to go for a phone. Yeah. So what are they looking at now? It's a whole year. It's a whole year since it's all come out.
Yeah, true.
And they've just charged him now, and you've heard no more about it. It doesn't take a year. You know what I mean? Like, and these bookings that he's got, if you look at them, they're 50-50 balls. Like, he could get the ball, he could not.
But you could disguise it,
yeah.
I could disguise it. Listen, to me, they've had a similar problem before in cricket as well, like spot fixing and stuff like that. It's bad, right?
Yeah,
and
look at what's coming out now. Have you seen all the old pros saying
players have been banned for life for these sort of things.
Yeah, but you see all the old pros now. It's been going on for donkeys.
I know the signing ones, right? I remember being tipped off about a signing, and the person say, I would never mention it.
I was going to say,
the person said, Robbie, lump on. And you know the funny thing is, that signing didn't actually happen.
Okay.
But he was like, lump on, because that's happening.
I've got a tip. I've got a tip that Paqueta was leaving. And they said to him, it was like 25-1 that he's going to leave at this time. Yeah. So he's come in, he's fucking basically picked up his tray, he's gone in the corner, he's eating on his own. No, he won't talk to no one. And then on his way out today, he's cleared out his locker. He's going, mate. Yeah. And I'm like, this is like in September. Yeah. I'm like, no way. I'm telling you, he's going. 2 weeks later, we've had a problem with him, blah, blah, blah. He's not playing for us again.
Should have lumped on.
No.
Listen, we're not doing that. A couple of super chats here. David Eddy says the Prem forced a Chelsea sale, but can't do this to City. We're going to get on to City in a minute. And Richie's House says, big up Matisse. Nice to meet you at Toca Social on Monday. Well done to you.
Pleasure.
Over 4,000 of you watching. We want more likes, right? We've got 460 likes. Let's get that up to 1,000. Let's talk about Manchester City. The news emerging this week that Manchester City, well, actually, they have been taking this actions, I think, since January, but it just come out this week that Manchester City taking the Premier League to court. It's going to be happening on June the 10th for unfair rules surrounding sponsorship and investment, which is basically what they've been accused of breaching. And,
I actually rate them.
Right, and they're suing the Premier League for damages and accuses the other clubs of discrimination against the golf ownership. Clubs, of course, are currently prevented from inflating deals with their owners linked to companies. And one of the things they've been accused of is basically saying that a company's sponsoring them when it's really them sponsoring themselves because they've got loads and loads of money. Yeah. City want the rules scrapped and are challenging the Premier League 2/3 voting rule as well. They said that that's unfair. And of course, they've got these 115 charges that are looming over them, which are going to be heard in November, and it's going to last about 6 weeks.
In November?
Now, where do you guys stand on this? I mean, you say that you rate them for it. I mean, I think it's a disgrace.
I just feel like they've gone, we're corrupt. What about you? And I actually, listen.
Let me just ask you something, right? So all of us are in here. All of us sat around this table, and we're going to do, say we've all got a little local football team. So we're going to do a little tournament. We all sit down and we agree on the rules and sign up to it, right? Then afterwards, now you breach those rules. I remember with City it's alleged, right? But afterwards you breach those rules and then you come back afterwards and you say, well, it was unfair. Why did you sign up to it? Why did you even do it in the first place? If you signed up to something, which all of those teams in the Premier League sign up to it, and I know they're moaning about the amount of teams that have, they're saying 14 teams, 14 out of 18 agree to that. Why should you feel that those are unfair and those should be scrapped? I don't get it.
I think it's just sticking their heels in. I think that's what it is. They're just trying to sort of get in before they get done themselves.
They also know there's some
I'm
other
not sure.
Listen,
I don't understand these rules. I really don't understand these rules. I don't know why Everton are getting done and then Chelsea ain't getting done. You know what I mean? I don't really understand what's going on. I really don't. I think they should make the rules clear to the public. But yeah, you are right. You know what I mean? You breach charges. That's it. But
the rules are set there to stop. So basically,
but there'll be others. Didn't we see the same thing with Newcastle a few years ago? Remember when it went from St James's Park to the Sports Direct Arena? Who owned the Sports Direct Arena?
It's the owner, right?
The owner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's been done before.
Chelsea, I've known, for a fact that they paid I saw they were paying a sponsor, and it was their money. It was circulating from Chelsea's ownership.
It
as
happens,
well.
right? But that's why they put these rules. They put these rules in place because basically, how can you compete, right? And I know City are saying it's discrimination against teams in the Gulf state. That's probably because little MC's got the most money, right? Now, if you've got a country, say like now we've got Newcastle, they're owned by the Saudi government, basically, right? They've got unlimited funds. Right? They could literally come and buy any player from any club and get any manager from any club. And so could City as well, right?
If they've got...
How does it make, if you don't have these sort of rules in these leagues, how does it make the leagues fair and competitive?
I think, sorry boy, I know you, but I think you look back in the past, it was the Wild West. Everyone was spending everything. Man United were blowing people out the water. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about when 30 million, 40 million was a lot of money, and they're buying people like all of a sudden, new people start getting money, and they went, "Well, let's stop this now." You know what I mean? Because they want to keep the elite. I do think that
it's not just that though. I do feel that because like they're saying, sustainable. They want the league to be sustainable.
But it's just good luck to them and good luck to Newcastle. They've got money. They've got outside companies. They've got outside.
Good luck to them. And listen,
and if they want to,
but they've got to make it. You made a good point about we need to be more aware of the rules or let it known to us as well, and also make it tighter. Like Chelsea found a loophole. They did the long contracts. I know they've changed that now, but like they found ways to try and get these big signers and spend loads of money. Like if you're going to have rules, make sure they're tight. Everyone's aware, and you can't break them.
I've got no love for Chelsea. Right?
Yeah, I hate
I've got no love for Chelsea, but
just like you,
they found a loophole, and people are going, "Well, is that fair?" And I'm going, "Found a loophole.
It's a loophole. It's literally a loophole."
So out, so that's for you. That's on you.
I don't like those things either.
In businesses like this,
that's on the Premier League.
In businesses like this, the Premier League, you're thinking about how big the Premier League is. They're making rules up as they go along. Let's be honest. They're making rules up as they go along. That's why they couldn't charge Everton for so. They're making them up as they go along.
Exactly.
If you're going to put something like this in place, make sure it's set before. Don't leave loopholes.
And it's airtight.
Like to leave loopholes.
But they have set it. So in anything you do, right, there can be loopholes. There can be things.
No, I understand.
When you close those loopholes and everybody agrees to it, and this is my argument. There's 18 teams, 19 teams there, right? And the teams agree. This is what we're going to do, right? Then if you don't like it as a team, there is the option you leave and go and do your own thing, right? But if you're in that league, just like if you're in the Champions League, all those teams that sign up, and the Champions League rules around sustainability is getting even stricter. You saw the other day where they were saying that Chelsea might not even go into the Conference League because the rules are in Europe are stricter than the Premier League's rules when it comes to profit and sustainability.
Let's
so these are the rules, and I do believe, right, that you have to have these rules in place. Otherwise, basically, it's just whoever's got the most money is going to win the league.
Let's not forget, right? These are not good people that own these football clubs. Do not.
Well, that's why none of the clubs.
No,
I mean, you can't.
And the Premier League,
none of the clubs,
and the organisations.
Just a couple of years ago,
the case, though, Robbie.
6 of them were going to go.
Exactly.
Yeah? So they're not.
And why were they going to go?
Because they
were basically throwing their toys out of the pram because they want more money.
Yeah.
Right. And this is one of the problems with our league. I look at other sports, right? Like I look at America. Remember, most of our owners are American, right? But look at over in America and how competitive their sports is because of the draft system and things like that.
But there's no relegation.
Exactly.
I know there's no relegation, and I'm not saying we should have their system.
That.
But one of the things I do look at sometimes, their thing, in a couple of years' time, someone completely new will win it. It gets, Whereas in the Premier League,
it's not competition, though, Rob. That's not competition.
Huh?
I think
it is competition.
No, it is competition, but I'm just saying,
you could be rewarded if you finish bottom of the league and you get the best player.
No, I disagree with the non-relegation parties.
It's not competition.
I would never want to see that. But what I'm saying is things like the draft system in comparison to the transfer system. Where basically transfer system means if you've got the most money and can pay the most wages, you get the best players, right?
That was always the case, though.
Yeah. Whereas in American sport,
there's been no cap though.
In American sport, because of the way it is, you know what I mean? Teams that haven't won it for a while can be in line to get the best player.
Okay.
And keep that player for a while to become successful.
Let's put it this way, right? So
when LeBron James came in, he wasn't at the LA Lakers first. He was at Cleveland, right? Yeah. And then he won the title with them.
But, Robbie, how would you feel, If all of a sudden they brought that system in here and now Everton come up and they go, I'll tell you what, we'll have Saliba.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. But I am not saying at all that we should have that system in the Premier League. But all I'm saying is we need to have a fairer system. It can't. Listen, to the detriment of my team, Arsenal, right, who are one of the biggest spenders, are a massive club, so are able to go out and buy a Declan Rice for £100 million. But is it fair that, say, let's just say Bournemouth, who had a great season last year, is it fair that as soon as Solanke's had a good season, he's going to be gone? Because someone's going to come and just say, right, well done, I'm having him like that.
But it's always been like that.
I know it's always been like that, but it's not fair.
But the thing is,
that's why we get the same people win all the time.
Hold on, but sometimes it can work to your advantage, because when Villa sold Grealish for 100 million to Man City, they've been able to rejuvenate their whole squad, and now they're in the Champions League. It's up to these clubs to spend.
We've done the same. We've done the same thing.
You've done the same with Declan Rice. If you spend the money wisely and you have the kind of scouting in place to actually replace the player, you can actually improve if you sold someone. So
not to win a league.
I don't. Think
I'm on about how do we change it, right, so that it actually Villa actually some of these teams actually have a chance of winning a league.
There's too much money in the Premier League. There's
the only way to win a Premier League. Right, apart from the one-off, absolute one-off that
that's how it goes in all
one-off that we have with Leicester, right, and every league in Europe.
That's all leagues,
you've got to have the most money.
Well, Chelsea spent the most in that.
It's always been like that.
No, but that's
when Manchester United was dominating, they were cherry picking whoever they wanted from everyone. They were taking Berbatov from Tottenham.
Is that good?
Yeah, but we weren't complaining. Were we complaining then?
No.
Why are we complaining now? When Man United and Ferguson was just cherry,
Spurs fans were complaining.
They took Tevez off West Ham. They took Berbatov off Tottenham.
Let me say this now.
They took Michael Carrick off Tottenham. Took all these players. No one batted an eyelid.
They took them off of us.
Real Madrid are basically doing it now.
So we've had players that they took Van Persie off us.
Let me just say this.
They've just done that with Mbappe.
I'll close this like this, yeah? The gap since the Premier League's formation is too big. It's too big.
So how do you
the gap from what, from top to middle and bottom?
Yeah, top, middle, bottom is too big, right?
So how do you stop that, Nicky? That's why they have these rules.
It even gets bigger when it drops down. This is what they're going to do. Instead of stopping all these people from spending money, drop the cash. Drop the cash and drop it down.
What do you mean? You can't drop the cash because the cash is going to be there for. But the thing is about it, Nicky, you've answered the question. This is exactly why.
In comparison to other leagues, the Premier League actually distributes the money very well. TV-wise, you see Sheffield United on TV.
Exactly.
Relegation, you get a whole heap of money.
That doesn't make it right.
Exactly. And I'm saying that's exactly why you have rules on sustainability, because if not, right, if you don't have rules, right, a team like Man City can ensure that they'll win it for the next 20 years as well, or Newcastle, because they could blow if you couldn't. You had no.
I don't think Man City even spent the most money.
Yeah.
If you had no restrictions on their spending,
they spent well.
If you had no restrictions on their spending, they could blow absolutely everybody out of the water. And it's not always. Remember,
this conversation wouldn't be taking place if Pep Guardiola wasn't their manager.
Matisse, remember,
they wouldn't be dominating the same.
But they wouldn't have got Guardiola if they didn't have the money.
They got. We had the money. We didn't get Guardiola because we didn't have the structure. They had the structure. That's why they got Guardiola.
But I'm saying, right, is that money in football buys you success, right? And if what they're saying there now, say that they're being discriminated against because they're a golf, team, and they're saying that they want to remove those rules so you can basically spend what you want. What is the point, right? Because they're going to win it. Them or Newcastle or whoever else is the high spenders are going to win it, or going to be in line to win it nearly every year.
But
what I'm saying is
doesn't make for a fair league.
But what I'm saying is the reason why they're winning it every year is not because of the spend, because Manchester United have spent, Chelsea have spent, and nowhere near it. It's because of Pep Guardiola. You take Pep Guardiola, one of if not the greatest manager of all times, out of the equation. Man City are not winning it every year, and therefore this conversation about dominance is not happening. Liverpool have a title, Arsenal have a title.
Yeah, but Matisse, before the money came in, they wouldn't dream of get a guy like Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, of course.
Because Pep Guardiola is still one of the highest paid managers in the world.
That applies with Aston Villa. Emery
spent fortunes. Yeah. Arsenal have not spent fortunes. They've spent a lot of money, but in comparison, Saliba, he's come through the youth. Yep. You got Odegaard, who was very cheap, for what he is. You know what I mean? Like, they've found another way.
But the other thing is about it. The other thing is about it, and let's also remember this, it's not always about the transfer fee, it's about the wages.
Yeah, I understand.
And the wages that these teams can pay blows even all them teams in Europe, apart from Real Madrid and a couple of others, blows them out of the water. That's why all of them European players always come to play in the Premier League. You have to have some rules around it. And the City have to respect those rules.
If you guys had not paid
signed up to
Havertz 300k, we wouldn't be in this position.
Well, if Chelsea were paying everybody 300k, we wouldn't be in this position.
I think it's gone too far. And the only way that it's going to happen is if everyone's going to be ended up owned by a billionaire anyway. So that'd be the poorest billionaire will lose.
Every team is owned by a billionaire already anyway.
Yeah, that's
in the Premier League.
People are saying it's not just Pep. This season, Man City were not that impressive. It was Pep. You could go through that Man City team, whether it's Walker having his little bit of decline, Akanji who's not a world-class player. You can go through that team and you can go mirror for mirror with Arsenal and say, actually, these two are competing. You took 4 points. You took 4 points off them, right? Yeah. The difference was Pep. Yeah. Man City don't pick up that league this year without Pep. I don't think people understand the intangibles that Pep is bringing to the table in terms of the motivation that he's given, the tactical insights. You put Pellegrini in that chair or Emery, he's not winning the league.
Pep's a great manager, but you got to get him. And number one, to get a manager like Pep, first of all, you got to pay him unbelievable amount of money every year. Then you got to show him that you got ambition to buy the best players every year. Then you got to show him that you got the structure and everything in place so that when he comes in, he's going to have everything he needs. Right? You're not going to a mid-table team. You're not going to Everton, is he? You're not going to those teams, right? So that's the point I'm making. So, but there has to be rules. There has to be rules to make the thing sustainable. Otherwise, it just becomes the wild, wild west. Some people argue already is. Let's get through a few super chats. Larry says, as an outsider, you will miss Rashford. Most of your attackers, including Kane, prefer the ball at their feet and play in a half space. Pace is crucial. Donny LFC says, non-democracy trying to kill a democracy for 30 years of state ownership at its finest. It's true. It's a democracy. They've said, these are the rules, and now you because it don't suit you now, you want to go against it. That's how I look on it. Bapanga says, guys, be careful. Look out for yourself, please. Oh, what have we done? They're after us.
Maybe talking about this topic. I don't know.
Or is it the City coming for us? Yeah. The City lawyers. Kalechi says, Saracen fan here. We dominated rugby in the 2010 to 2019. Were found guilty of breaking the salary cap for years. We were fined 3.5 million, docked 105 points, relegated and dropped by our biggest sponsor. Interesting. Interesting.
Right, let me say this now, right? That will never, ever, ever happen. Nothing is happening to City.
You don't think City are going to get
Nothing is happening to City. They're too big of a brand to drop them down.
Juventus in Serie A. Biggest
Scotland
team
done it as well. And what did they do?
Rangers.
Yeah.
Biggest team. Celtic won it 10 years in a row.
They won it 10 years in a row. They dropped them down. There's no competition.
Yeah, but they got dropped down, didn't they? There's Rangers. If you're talking of equivalents, Rangers in that division.
And it hurt them.
Yeah, but they still did it.
The Premier League are not that bold.
Juventus is the biggest club in it.
They're not that stupid.
The court case happened in November.
I don't think you can say it's not going to happen.
It's happening in November. So then what happens? If they get found guilty, they're going to get kicked out of the Premier League in November.
Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. To be honest.
6 clubs went to leave.
Yeah,
what did they do? Brushed it under the carpet. The biggest 6 clubs went to leave. They brushed it under the carpet. They could have done anything to them. Should have chucked them out. I'd have let them go. I'll be honest. I would have let them go.
C-Mac says United spent loads of money back in the day with legal and legit money generated by the club and not dodgy sponsorships like City. No comparison, he says. Dragon Vince Square says, if money equals success in football, Chelsea equals an outlier. Well, Chelsea have, maybe not in recent years, but they have been very, very successful, especially since the money came in, especially under Roman Abramovich. Donny LFC says City have grew 1,127% in 8 years to 5 million behind Madrid. Explain that.
Success.
Money buys that success. Blue Moon M14 says this he's not happy with me. He says this oversized Malteser. What are you talking about? Are we going to talk about Arsenal snitching? If we win it, it benefits everybody. It benefits you. I don't know about.
What do you mean Arsenal?
Benefit me.
Well, apparently they've said that there's a few clubs that are looking to give evidence against City, and one of them's Arsenal. Good. I think one is Arsenal. What was it? Was the other Liverpool?
I'm not sure.
All the people didn't win it, apparently.
And with their appeal that they're doing, this thing that they're bringing, this action. There's 2 clubs that are backing him. One of them's Everton. Probably we know the reason why, because they got done for charges. The other one's Newcastle. And I wonder why that is, because Newcastle want to be Newcastle at the moment under constraints because of financial fair play when they've got unlimited. If that didn't exist, they could blow everybody out the water tomorrow.
Do you want me to tell you how it is? I'm going to tell you how it is as a fan of the outside of the top 6, right? And I'm going to tell you this, and you know why? Because this is the Don Corleone family now. This is what it is. The top 6 run. They make the money.
Matthias, you know the feeling.
Yeah, but no.
Sorry,
they're in it.
There's 5 families.
They're in it.
5 families in New York.
They got.
Matisse there sat there.
It's the 1930s, mate.
They make them an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah? But these people, they get the votes, and I'll tell you why they get the votes. Yeah, it's because they make the rules. And everyone follows. And people like West Ham and Everton and Brentford. And you know why they follow? Because they make the money. They make the money and they want to keep it like that. They don't want the likes of West Ham or Leicester or anyone like that winning the league. They don't, because it doesn't make money. They don't want the likes of Manchester United outside of Europe because it doesn't make money. Yeah. No, so these people and the clubs like us, and I'm going to put us in there, right?
Nah.
Unless you've got a little bit of ambition.
You guys spend a little, man. Talk to me about Burnley and Bournemouth.
Let's talk about Burnley and Bournemouth then. Clubs like them, they know their place. And they know where their bread's buttered. They know who make the money and bring the money into the league, yeah? That's why, when they could have had a vote, there were 6 clubs that got caught thingy. They could have voted to chuck them out.
No,
but they wouldn't.
Of course they can't do that.
Because they know where their bread's buttered. People like West Ham know where their bread's buttered. They know where the money comes from. And they'll never, the owners, I don't care, I'd have chucked the 6 of them out. The owners know that without these clubs, there is no money.
If you have no rules, this is what you have the Super League thing.
Might not be the Premier League anymore.
You have to, that's why,
of course.
That's why I don't know understand where City are coming from on this, because if you have no rules, what's the point?
It's a Super League. The club have the power.
What's the point?
It's a Super League anyway. They made the Champions League into the Super League.
You make a good point.
Joshua Singleton says, why is it fair that the big clubs spend what they want just because they're at the top? You either cap it for everybody the same or let them loose, which you can't let them loose, which is like what you just said. Clara Bitsy said, Robbie, if reading Super Chats was a trophy, you'd be Spurs. Thank you very much, mate. I just read yours. You missed at least 15 Super Chats on the last live show. Okay, where are they? And if a Super Chat gets missed, the guys will make sure that they put it up on the screen. It's a very emotive subject, man. And I think for City, the quicker this is all resolved and we know whatever these charges are and whether they're guilty or not guilty, the better.
Punishment though, Rob. What is if it gets dealt with November, December time, January, it can't be a fine because that's ridiculous, they can pay it, whatever. Relegation midway through a season.
Well, they'd appeal, wouldn't they?
But they could dock them 500 points and then carry on the league and then 500 points there. They're going down anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so but then.
Well, let me ask you.
They're not going to do that.
Let me ask you.
That's not going to make money.
Nothing is going to happen.
Let me ask you guys, what would you do, Matisse, if they got found guilty of those 115
at that
charges?
time?
Who's guilty?
December.
No, just if they're found guilty, what's the point? Because if they found guilty, they'd appeal it. That's probably why they're doing it like November. They'd appeal and we wouldn't hear nothing until probably the end of the season. What would you do? What would be the punishment for you if they're found guilty of all those charges?
I don't think there's any point talking about a financial
punishment.
It would have to be points deduction or... Yeah, I think points deduction. I mean, that's what Everton and Forest have been given.
A points deduction of how much? What would you say?
It'll have to be a relegation amount.
150.
It'll have to be a relegation amount.
Maybe 150 points.
I'm with you, brother.
No, it'd be a lot of points. How many points did... Because Everton got their points back and then they were taken away again. So I don't even know how many points they were deducted in the end.
4?
No, they got 6, I think.
6
over the 2 charges.
I don't know what every single charge is. So when we say 115 charges, I don't know, like, obviously the severity of each charge is different to the next, but I think you're looking at a minimum.
Well, a lot of it is just not showing evidence.
I don't think any of this stuff should be done to the end of the season anyway. And I said that against Everton.
But what would you, if they're found guilty, what would you do?
I'd put them in the conference.
No.
I would. No, I would.
No. It's Premier League matter, not your...
Yeah.
Well, no, I'd put them in the conference.
No, he's on about the football conference.
Oh, Bumba.
League.
You're playing against Halifax.
It's a big cup. It's a big cup.
I'm in it, man. Massive. I'm in it.
Bournemouth versus Man City with Pep managing.
Mental.
What would you do?
I don't know, man.
I don't know either. It has to be.
If found guilty, what would you do?
It's more than. It's not a 10.
I don't
serious.
Like you said, no financial punishments, no point. I don't want trophies given back. I think that's just
pointless.
ridiculous. It's done. Like no one's gonna go and. I mean, we're not gonna do no parade for it. It's done. Relegation seems like the only answer.
Got stripped of their trophies.
Did they?
Yeah. They did.
I don't mind them getting stripped. But I don't think they should be given then to.
To others,
the other club. There's no point in that. I just think it's just stripped, it's just asterisks over it. But relegation does seem like the right process, but then
it ain't gonna happen.
I don't. For funny, I don't see it happening.
I'm not asking you what's going to happen. I'm asking, well, what would you do?
Yeah, you got to relegate them.
Because to me, I'm with Nicky.
115 charges.
115 charges. You're gone, and you're stripped of all those trophies. As simple as that. Like.
You're not going to get them off that.
And we're not saying that that's going to happen, by the way, because
we don't want it.
It's a legal thing, and it's far too easy for us to look broadly over it. But if I'm just of the thing that if everybody signs up to something,
that's minor.
And you just have cheated the system deliberately so that you can win
115 times.
You need to be dropped out.
Yeah, transfer ban with relegation. I would like a transfer ban.
But this is what happens when it get relegated. When it comes down to
relegated
being
is like
businesses.
It's enough.
This is what happens when it comes down to being businesses. Yeah, they're getting caught. They won the Champions League when they was meant to be excluded from the Champions League. It won't stick. Whatever they decide won't stick because they've got so many lawyers. They'll work it out.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
It's hard for me to give a punishment without the verdict.
Because he's Chelsea. He's scared.
Don't relegate them.
You better be careful.
I would like to know what each charge is. If it's because the grass was too long, it's different to whether or not if it was.
A lot of it's not showing.
I want to know the charges first.
It's not showing.
I don't know all the charges.
Showing their documents, I believe. A lot of it is just not.
I think what it is I think they was presenting. Say for instance, like they were saying that Aguero was on 50 grand a week. I'm just saying, like, but they was paying him in other ways to get it up to whatever. I think it's like things like that. Yeah,
there's things like that, and I think one of them as well is like sort of you're basically pumping that money in yourself through a company. That you're saying that company's decided to sponsor you for obscene money. They haven't decided to sponsor, say, Man United down the road, which would be far better to sponsor at that time because they've got a much bigger worldwide fan base and it would be cheaper. They've come to you to sponsor, and that's when I started talking and thinking, well, why? Why, is this you guys sponsoring yourself? But all will be revealed. This is not down to us, and it's not, we can talk as much as we want. It's a legal battle. And they could be innocent.
They dock them 150 points and they'll still win the league.
Got an unbeaten run from the start.
Some more super chats here before Clara Bitsy gets on my case. Nick says, unpopular fix, allow the Super League, then promote from the Championship to fill the 20 teams with all the remaining temes having the same cap. But then you lose the essence of the Premier League if you allow the Super League. David Eddy says, why aren't Man City being forced to sell? They haven't even dealt with the charges yet, so let's wait on that. Robbie, is AGT still back in Amsterdam demanding replays after he bottled the Soccer X challenge? That's from Clara Bitsy. B Dog says 50 points deduction for 10 seasons if they stay in the Premier League. Well, there'd be no point in them being in the Premier League.
Seasons is crazy.
Juve's relegation and titles were stripped, so they were relegated and titles stripped.
That was match fixing, though.
Yeah,
that was match fixing.
That was match fixing.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
Edward Moore says 5-year transfer ban and a points deduction each year is what he's suggesting. Lots of suggestions coming from here.
I think a transfer ban.
Match fixing.
Red Square says tyranny of the majority in the West. We call it democracy. Man City will bring the league to the brink, and make no mistake about that. Talk about bringing the game into disrepute. So he's very angry about it. Nick says, imagine City getting deducted 80 points at the beginning of next season and still finishing above Spurs. And Owen Williams says, I'd say dock them 300 points based on the charge, and make them play out
of the Heil.
Out of the Heil.
I think Pile is that meant to be. Pile.
All right. Throughout the next 3 seasons, likely falling into League One. There's serious charges, man, and I heard their owner saying, listen, he just wants to get it resolved. I mean, he's fed up of being called Asterix FC and stuff like that. So
I remember when Haaland I heard he was on like 800 to 900 a week. I said, how? What? Where? What? 800 grand
It can
a week?
be done. It can be done. It depends how you do it. It can be done.
Yes.
Mental.
Niu says, Matisse, the majority of the charges say that they were overinflated sponsorship deals and made side payments to players and managers. In short, fraud. Let's not forget that. That's fraud.
Yeah.
More than 30 charges are about them and not cooperating with the Premier League's investigation. And we've got to remember as well that some of these things only came to light because of a whistleblower. And that's another reason why.
No, not Arteta, sorry.
Listen, right.
Do you know what they're doing over there?
Everything being said by Nicky, his own words.
It's me. It's not DR Sports.
They're fogging standards, guys.
Nicky.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got something to tell you.
Let's say a little bit about transfers before we duck out today. How's it looking at everybody's club? Sesko being linked.
Yeah, massively.
Benjamin Sesko being linked with a move to Arsenal. Would you be happy with that signing?
I mean, my number one priority, and you always shut me down, it is Isak. Obviously, that's the player I've been wanting for ages.
Right, Isak came out yesterday and said that he's happy
leaving
at Newcastle.
Yeah, I know.
He's not looking to move. And I said it to you. I told you this months ago. Newcastle are not selling Isak.
Him or Bruno, they're not selling. I don't think they're selling any of them.
No, they will. They'll sell one.
They may have to sell Bruno. They've got to sell one,
they won't.
but they're not going to sell Isak.
They're talking about letting Bruno go for a cut price. That's how desperate they are for.
Yeah, and again, that's the rules, isn't it? Because if it weren't the sustainability rules, they'd be able to go and get 4 more Brunos.
Yeah,
that's true.
But now they're having to balance the books because they've not made Europe. They may have to let Bruno go. Apparently, he's £100 million release clause.
I'll take Bruno.
Bruno would be a great signing.
I'll take Bruno Gamar as well. But yeah, Sesko, it's a young player. I think I watched you on Transfer Daily. Big up, welcome back. But yeah, talking about, it's like a Højlund. He's young. He's
Rasmus Højlund, yeah.
Yeah, Rasmus Højlund. He's young, he's physical, he's tall, what I've seen of him, he's a good player. He's not the finished product, but I suppose you don't need that. For me, for Arsenal, all they need is someone, and I've been a striker where you're coached just to be in the box, when the ball arrives, just put it in the back of the net. Arsenal get goals from all over the pitch. I think a player that's just trained by the striker coach or Arteta to just say, all you got to do is play between the sticks. Don't leave the box, put the ball in the back of the net. He'll get a lot of goals, and he's the right profile. He's young, he's fast, and he's strong. I think he does well, and I think with Havertz, I know he's going to be again, still be playing as well next season. I think it's a good option, and then hopefully we keep Jesus as well. Yep. There's a good mix of players, but I think Sesko's a good signing. But again, the dream.
Is he going, or is it just rumoured?
Sorry,
Sesko.
It's a rumour.
He's been linked to a few.
I don't know. He's been linked with Chelsea as well. Would you be happy with him at Chelsea?
I think it's not ideal, because we've already got quite a few young strikers.
Yeah.
So for me, from an age profile, I would have preferred someone with a bit of experience, someone that could bring a bit of leadership to the squad, not somebody that we need to develop, someone that we need to give a lot of time to, someone that could come in and make an instant impact. But I do like his profile. 6'5", scores with both feet, scores with his head as well.
Can play also.
Can play a bit. He's a good ball striker as well. So he does bring a lot of things that we don't have. And the market is a mess. Like, Gyökeres is 80 million, 100 million euros.
Striker market.
Osimhen is 130 million or 20 million. Isak is not moving. Tony, personal issues, it'd be a little bit of a gamble to maybe go for him. So I don't know. It's one of those situations where I'm not like jumping for joy, because I know that he's going to take time to settle in, and he's going to take time to actually give us the output that we maybe need. But he's a good player. He looks like he's good.
What about this one, right? And I was reading this one. It says, Chelsea will turn down any loan moves for Romelu Lukaku this summer in a bid to sell the Belgium striker in a permanent deal. They're looking to recoup the 97.5 million that they paid for him from Inter Milan.
No,
in
we're not
2021.
looking to recoup that.
They're asking, they're asking.
The release,
Hold on.
They're asking
prices
38 million.
Yeah, asking price believed to be around about 37 million.
Yeah.
As the club aims to get the 31-year-olds £325,000 a week wages.
Yeah, that's not his
off
wages
the
anymore.
book.
So that I don't know who what.
That's BBC's website.
Yeah, that's incorrect. So we got him on a new deal, which brought him down to like 180 because those wages were ridiculous.
Yeah.
We told him he had to come down to that number so he could go out on loan because no one was going to pay those wages. So those are not the wages that he's on anymore. He's on about 170, 180. And his release clause is 37, 38 million. But Napoli's obviously got Conte now. Conte loves Lukaku. Don't think they've got that type of
31
money.
years old.
Yeah, I don't think they've got that
don't.
kind of money considering they just finished 10th and they missed out on Europe.
they ain't
Everybody above them got Europe apart from them. It's literally everyone ganged up on them after winning the league title and said, yo, we're all taking something, you're leaving with nothing.
They could sell Osimhen though.
Yeah, but so that means it's become a little bit of a triangle. Osimhen, we have come out of that race. We're not interested because of the price. It would take PSG to go and get maybe Osimhen because they're one of the few clubs that could afford, and then maybe they'll have the
And
money
they're
for
saying
Lukaku.
they're not paying it either.
How can you balk at the price for Osimhen when you paid £120 million for Fernandes?
Because you can't keep spending, you can't keep
Financial fair
breaking,
play
you
now,
can't
innit?
keep
They can't-
breaking
yeah.
transfer
The
records
loophole
over
is
and
not
over again.
loopholing.
They closed it.
Exactly. The loophole was you could stagnate the payments over
Facts.
8, 9, 10
Years,
years.
yeah.
And that's what we did with Enzo Fernandez. So we're only paying about 10 million per year,
Yeah.
which means if you was to sell him in 3-4 years' time for 60 million, you've actually probably made your money back. Whereas on this one,
60.
it's 5 years now, like it should be, really.
Yeah.
And UEFA have also got 5 years. So, you know, we're not gonna be able to do that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Nicky, West Ham, what have you guys been up to
what's
in the
going on?
transfer market?
Nothing. No, we're all looking at Brazilians. I don't even know who they
Yeah,
are.
I've seen
you're
a
bringing
couple
in
of
that
Brazilian
guy.
players.
The young
The young
guy,
one.
Palmeiras.
Yeah.
He was playing with Endrick and Esteval.
I saw that as well.
I can't.
Did see that.
This is concentrated. Obviously, I don't even know their names. Like,
Nah, man, this is when you did the Tevez Mascherano team.
I'm looking at. Yeah, again, so we talked about dodgy deals. You know what I mean? But again, like I look at these. I don't talk about transfers until they're done. You know, because it's.
What do you need?
You should start transfer
A
daily.
new team.
A new team.
You need a striker.
You need a striker.
You need a striker
Our
badly.
defence is shattered now. They're not keen on Aguerd. Zuma's breaking down now. His knees are going.
Can I interest you in Malang Sarr?
Give us who you want, mate.
Are you done with Antonio for real? You think he's
I don't think the new manager fancies Antonio.
Fair.
There's a couple of obviously the Paqueta things. So they've got a lot to do. A lot to do.
Will be a big blow in it.
Yeah.
I think Disasi would do
I think as well that what they was doing is they
He's trying to offload all his players.
they offered us Lukaku last year, and I said I'd take him. I still take him, but he's 31. And,
Thank you.
You know what I mean? But
You take him.
yeah, we're not you.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Would you take Lukaku?
Wait.
If you could get one player this summer for your team, who would that be? Cecil.
My rule of thumb is Premier League proven, and Robbie, I've said it at the start when we spoke about Sesko. Isak. That's just that's what I want.
What about Solanke?
I was just about to say it from my way. You ruined it.
Yeah, Solanke.
Dominic
Not for
Solanke.
Arsenal. What are you doing?
Dominic Solanke at
Why
West
not?
Ham.
Realistic.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
put the ball in the back
Okay.
of the net. He's had a good season.
All right.
One seat.
If I can have one player.
One player.
Declan Rice.
Nah, bring me Elise.
That's who you want.
I love Elise.
I like Elise
I
as well.
love Elise.
I like Elise.
And it'll piss
I
off.
like
it'll
Elise.
piss off Man United fans as well.
I like Elise and Eze.
Both.
The
Oh, you
two
want
of them.
both?
He's greedy, you know.
You think you're a heady one? I think he's heady one.
He's greedy.
Those two players are the most
I heard that they're
underrated
looking,
players in the
I think
Premier
they're
League.
looking for about 120 million, 130 million.
Yeah, that's right. They
The
want
pair
60
of them
million each.
Yeah.
Yeah. 60.
But that's
I think
what do you
that's
guys
worth it.
What do you,
though.
what do you
Worth
guys
it.
think of Alvarez?
That's
Because
worth
apparently Alvarez is trying to make a move out.
Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, Alvarez. I'll take him.
take
He's
him.
good.
I'll take
He's good.
him.
He's,
World Cup
see,
winner.
He shoots well.
Yeah, he's a
I
striker.
don't think.
striker. I like him.
I don't think they'd let him go to another Premier League team.
Not you.
He wants to.
Not after the last 2 years. challenge.
He wants to be in the Premier League.
Pepper's not having
Yeah,
it.
Liverpool said to be interested in him. Host of other clubs.
Be a good
Why
one.
would Liverpool buy him?
No, they
Yeah, but their strikers aren't really.
Nunez misses a
No
lot
one's
of
really.
chances.
No one's really claimed.
Nah.
strikers.
Nunes,
He
I don't know. I sense like their fans are turning a bit on him.
Oh, really?
A bit, Rob. They are. I mean, they don't
Bit.
like him at the moment. I'll tell you that for
I'll
free.
take him. I like him.
Nunes?
Yeah, I like him.
I think
What
he'd
about
do well at
Bowen?
West Ham.
I love Bowen. Yeah.
Bowen.
I've already got Bowen. You asked us who we
No,
wanted.
I'm not on about you having him. I'm on about
They got a good team, you know.
Couple
Don't do
little
this.
bids coming through.
West Ham
Bowen.
can't do the worries me thing anymore. They got Kudus, they got Bowen, they got Paqueta, they got
but-
You got Alvarez in
Alvarez in the
Alvarez is
midfield.
good,
What? They've got a good team.
I'll take Kudus as well,
Right,
man.
good team.
Oh, I'd love Kudus. James.
He's brilliant.
James wants Kudus.
He's brilliant.
He's brilliant. He won't be with us next year.
I heard he had a
What?
release. I heard he got a
Next
release
year.
clause in.
Next year.
Next
Same as
year.
Paqueta. That's what I was going to happen to Paqueta.
You're the
2 years.
team that Bournemouth complain about.
Kudus like Arsenal. He does like Arsenal though. I'm letting you know.
Yeah?
Inside
dodgy release
sources.
clauses,
Kudus likes Arsenal. Just letting you know. Inside
I know he
sources.
does.
European heavyweights.
He also likes
You know
Liverpool.
what I mean? Picking up Conference League, Europa League every year. Sick of these European
I don't
teams.
think you go to. I'll be honest with you. I don't think you go to Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal need him.
Who?
Kudus.
Nah, we'd definitely. Nah, Saka can't
I
be.
don't think they need him. Saka, Martinelli. I don't think
Plays on the right,
So when I'm saying,
Alright.
when I'm saying at Toca Social that Palmer should be getting some minutes with Saka, you guys are all telling me no, this is out of order. Now you're talking about Kudus sharing minutes with Saka. Okay.
No, Palmer would definitely get
Oh,
minutes.
pardon.
Do you know what I can
share?
Kudus or Elise?
Me, Elise.
Kudus or Elise?
Love Elise.
Nah, Elise's cold.
I love Elise.
Elise's cold.
One of my favourite players in the league right now.
You know what it is though? I like Kudus. I like them.
Tight
Nah, I do love
control.
Kudus as well.
Those
Yeah.
rampaging runs he makes, man.
He's got
Elise
tight
is
control. Don't
cold.
give the ball away.
Yeah, man.
He's
No,
got the
but
biggest
in
stance.
the Arsenal scene, you need a player with tight control,
But you know what?
technical
I love
ability. I
them
think
rampaging
Elise has
runs,
that
man.
over
Bro,
Kudus.
them Elise free
Rampaging
kicks,
runs.
them celebrations
all
there.
All of that.
Don't even
He
slots
slots into Arsenal.
They're both good players.
crossing.
Let's just put it that way.
They're both quality.
They are good. Who's your number one side? Who's your number one on the top of the list for you? It's hard, isn't it?
Oh, that Bruno Guimaraes in that midfield, man.
After what happened
That's right.
at the St James's
Right.
where you
The
guys were
elbow.
beefing.
I don't care, right? Bruno Guimaraes.
Hey, I want to play, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, bro.
Bruno Guimaraes, Rice, and Odegaard in the midfield.
Nasty. Yeah, it's bad.
Bro, that's a wall, man.
Where's Havertz
That's a
playing?
wall, and that's back and forth and energy and.
Sounds like someone going on the bench next year.
Yeah, I mean, meet that release clause, man. 100 mil, man. I'll tell you, that midfield would be unreal.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is Premier League proven. I
I
don't
don't
like
think that will
Youssef
happen.
Fofana,
You know what I
but
mean?
Premier League proven.
Yeah,
players.
and he's Premier League proven, and but
He's
you
good,
know,
good,
he's
good
another player. He
organised.
loves it at Newcastle, so but could be on the move.
Even though he dissed us in his welcome video as well, you don't care.
Business man, no dissing, man. You know what I mean? When a man
You
comes
might
to
have- you might have
after
experienced
both of them.
Koscielny.
You was after. You after Guimaraes and Paqueta.
he went to
And
the-
Paqueta,
Yeah, both of them.
Those
and
are
then-
man have dissed Arsenal, man. You've dissed other teams. Yeah, I mean, you still bring them in if they're good enough. Yeah, I mean, they soon forget about that. They come in. Look at Maddison, Arsenal fan. Man's you know. Nan's now at Tottenham dissing Arsenal, same as Harry Kane. Had his red hair at parades and that. Now he's dissing Arsenal. You know
No,
what I mean?
Madison. Madison's not.
They're professional
on
footballers, man.
Talksport this week, he said he doesn't have any problems with Arsenal. He did say that.
Professional footballers, man. You know what I mean? Bring him in.
I think once you become a professional footballer, you support.
Gloves are off.
It just goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it just goes.
You have
Like,
to
it's
fully
waning.
commit. If you
Brother,
don't-
course.
all the
Your own fan
players,
base is gonna hate
all the players I speak to that are in the game at the moment, I say, "Oh, what team you support?" They said, "I support football." They don't.
Yeah,
They never mention
facts.
a club. Never.
I
They
know
won't
who-
tell
I know
you
who some
anyway.
players support.
They won't tell you.
I keep that to
anyway.
myself.
No, you know what I
I
mean?
keep that to myself, but I know who quite a few players support, and they hate the teams they're playing for.
No, it's true.
100%.
Another super chat here. V33 says 14 club voting, tyranny of majority. Each of those 14 clubs should assign a player to do a Roy Keane on one City player each game next season. Tyranny, he says. We've come to the end of the show today. Really enjoyed it. Want to big up our panel. Big up to Nicky.
Thank you.
You can find him over on West Ham Fan TV. Big up, of course, to Cecil. You can find him on AFTV. And Matisse. You know where to find Matisse, right? Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, loads of Euros content coming up here. We'll also be touching on the Copa America as well. And Best of Enemies tomorrow. Make sure you check that out as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.